focus on?
This direction.
Which roles do you find organization? Okay.
The skill.
Yeah, what do you mean? What skills do you use to get the targets?
Communicate skill. Communication skill.
About personal skill.
The personal skill.
To get what target though? What do you mean?
Leadership skill skill to lead other people. Chị cái câu này nè. Câu gì?
Get it target. Skill là
Cái target đó là cái gì vậy? Cái đó em để vô mà em tức là
skill like communication
Because
skill.
cái câu này cũng sẽ là tại nếu mình hỏi câu này which leadership styles do you apply in position thì cái này mình cũng đang nói về how do I be successful in the position thì of course I'm going to talk about
You talk about
the entrepreneurial style, the skills involved. Nó cũng là giống như câu này.
yeah, if you already talk about
I think we just skip it, yeah. It just doesn't make, it's not clear in this question.
Yeah.
I think we just skip it.
You just want to
special.
make so clearly about just your what skill you use to in your leadership style.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I can talk about it here, just so I don't be repetitive.
And
Can you clarify this one? What do you think about trustworthiness?
Trustworthy
Do you
about-
usually walk to talk with your staff?
Their action always belong to check nhưng mà lòng tin từ cái nhân viên
anh là nhân viên vĩ đại cho đó.
làm sao improve làm sao cái làm cho nhân viên mình tin tưởng mình.
Okay. And then this one, in your roles, which one do you refer?
I create
Nói cái gì vậy? Nói cái gì vậy?
So, yeah, this already asked which one is,
in the best.
yeah, what do you think about it? So I talk about it here already.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
skip that.
So let's skip that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This should be fine.
And you skip the same under here and here.
Sorry?
You skip wasn't I?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. We skip 13.
Please talk louder.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Well, before we have music, this time there's no music.
Okay.
Excuse me. Are you ready to?
Yes.
Okay.
It's okay.
Good afternoon, Mr.Tam. We are from the university.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to be here. And can I ask you some questions about your leadership style?
Sure, yeah.
Could you tell me about some information about you? Which qualification did you get? Your position in Niesel company and your responsible.
Okay. So I'm currently the marketing manager for Nielsen in Vietnam, and my responsibilities are pretty much to drive our branding and our relationships with our clients here in Vietnam, mainly Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. In terms of qualifications, I studied university, I have a bachelor's, and I worked a few years before joining Nielsen. Yeah, I mean, overall, those are my responsibilities at Nielsen. Day to day, there's a lot of activities, but yeah, those are my two key, or my responsibility.
Which role do you play in your organization?
Sorry.
Which
role?
role do you play in your organization?
So, like I just said, so I focus on doing marketing for the company, driving our external relations, so anything related to branding, and just driving our expertise as a consulting company, research company.
Can you elaborate you always work with the customer or the stakeholder?
I mean, at the end of the day, our clients are our focus, right? That's who we serve. But I work with a lot of different organizations, chambers of commerce and business groups, as well as our clients, holding events and writing white papers or reports that we share with our clients in the business community to show our expertise in consumer research.
In your role, you work with team or individual?
I always work with the team, yeah, to get things done, either with my team or with other teams. Generally, it's you have to work across. There's many different stakeholders to make sure we're successful.
And which leadership style you apply in your position?
That's okay. Questions there. For me, definitely entrepreneurial leadership style. That's the most important. And that's what has made me successful so far. I think, especially in Vietnam, you have to really adapt and just think of new ideas and working with people. And so that, to me, that has been the best style, because if you're too controlling or micromanaging, or say this and do that, then it doesn't really work that well.
Do you change your leadership style in a particular situation?
Yeah, you have to be. You always have to be adaptive if you want to be a successful leader. I think many much more experienced people will tell you that's very important, right? You can't. There's no one size fits all. You can't apply it to everyone. It has to be adaptive, because let's say you have a team of 10 people, right? You have 10 different personalities, and you have to adapt to each one of them, and that will always be the case.
Okay. How do you achieve the organization goal?
Well, I guess through. Can you clarify? So.
That means the organization give you the
objectives. Yeah.
And how do you get it?
Well, I guess that's where the entrepreneurial side of leadership comes in. I just, I get objectives, whether from regional or my boss here, and then it's up to me to be creative and work with the team here to think of the activities that I want to do to make sure that we achieve it. To explain how we do it day to day, I'm not sure how to break it down, but it's just working with all of the stakeholders, which everyone usually is, and making sure everyone understands that why we need to do something. I think you have to show people the benefit, otherwise nobody will really want to do anything because everyone's busy. So you need to show how everyone has a stake in it. I guess that's what I try to do. I try to communicate and be open on why, okay, these are the 3 goals, and then to break that down further and try to relate it to everyone, that, all right, this is important to you in this way.
Do you usually give direction task for the MA?
Yeah, you give them tasks. Of course, you have to give them, you give them tasks, and then you have to make sure you follow up so that people get things done.
But sometimes they not clearly about this task. What do you do?
Yeah, generally I put a lot of trust when I work with people, so I will just give it, give them the task, whatever it is, and I leave it up to them. I try to give clear points, but then I leave it up to them to see how they think they should get it done. Rather than micromanaging and giving the person, a list with 12 steps and telling them to do this, unless it's something, it will depend on the situation, but otherwise, I try to just keep it general, and then anything that's really important, I let them know. Otherwise, just let them do it their style. As long as I see the results, it's okay.
Do you like to follow the work schedule and check it on the time?
For me and my style, yeah, I have a work schedule that I follow. I think you need to allocate time pretty well, because time is your most important asset, right? And to make sure we maximize that. And then with my team, it's the same. I'm not as a micromanager, but I'll give them a deadline, and then I'll follow up at that time. But that's it.
How many hours do you work in a week?
Two people work under me, but in terms of when we work, then I work with a lot of people. Everyone's a stakeholder, the managing director and all of the other directors in the company. Because in this role, we're trying to build or show expertise and build our brand. Then it's with everyone you need to work with and delegate people below you, next to you, above you. So you need to learn to manage up to as well, as they say.
What do you think about job posting? And do you usually want to talk with your staff?
Trustworthiness, so like honesty, right?
Yes, honest.
Of course, in business, or anything, right? Relationships, that's very important. That's If you don't have trust, you don't have anything. So when I work with people, I always put, because I think everyone is smart, right? So I try to put trust in everyone we work with, and so I'd rather give them trust and then see how they do, and then if they don't do right, then we need to talk and see how we can improve. But generally, I put a lot more trust in them with the people I work with, and that's very important. I think that's how it should always be. And then in terms of the second part, you said, do you usually want to talk with your staff? You mean, I guess as being a role model?
No, that means you go to sit next to your staff and talk about the problem that which they have.
Yeah.
You talk about something about improve relationship between you and your staff.
You mean, do I guide my staff? Or?
Yes.
You mean, do I sit down with them and talk?
Yeah. Like meeting.
Yeah, about their problems, their issues.
Yeah.
If you're talking about work-related issues, then generally, I sit down and we'll have a conversation with them. Like usually, I do a monthly review and try to give them honest feedback on how they're doing. Not just bad things, right? But also you gotta praise people. It's important to show people what they've done well, and then but point out where they need to improve. But it's something I always do. But it's careful how you talk to your staff. You should always be sensitive of people's emotions.
Okay. What do you think about IQ and EQ?
Which one? Yeah. Well, IQ, I think we all have IQ.
Yes.
We're all smart. You all go to RMIT, right? That's a good school. I think IQ is funny because I've done some training on EQ. But IQ is no matter what. I think we're all born with a basic amount of IQ, right? Yes. And especially relating to the workplace, it's very important. It gets you in the door. But I think to be successful, it all relies on that second part there, the EQ, the emotional intelligence. I think it's still new in Asia and in Vietnam in general, but more people are starting to understand the importance of it in terms of which one is the best. So like I said, you need both, right? And it's a balance, but IQ kind of gets you in the door or when you're trying to work, because that's what people look at, right? The qualifications, but they don't know your emotional intelligence. They don't know anything about that. They just know you have a degree, you have a 3.8 GPA or whatever. But EQ, that's something they'll be able to tell over time. That's when they work with you, and what your colleagues say about you, what your clients say about you. But to me, I'm a really big fan of EQ because what does it relate to? It has a lot to do with your attitude and how you interact with people. It's basic, right? Your attitude. So to be successful, you really do need to know how to deal with people, or when you fail and things like that. How your attitude, controlling your attitude, is very important. And I think that's the biggest challenge for new graduates, and to learn the importance of EQ. Your attitude, controlling your attitude, how to deal with people, how to be sensitive or how to be assertive.
Do you usually consider the employee idea in a meeting?
Yeah, of course. Even I'm very open to ideas for anyone at any level, because when you work on any project, if you're really focused, if you're doing it every day, you might only see that way of doing it. But somebody fresh outside, whether even if it's a student or an intern, they can bring in new ideas because they're new to it, and they look at a project and they see a totally different way that maybe I missed. Right? That's a true example, and that happens a lot. So it's good to always take ideas, and I do get ideas from the staff, from anyone, and I always ask for ideas from people, because everyone builds off of each other on ideas, so it's a good way.
Charlie at the end.
Okay. All right. Thanks. You want to check it?